Well, it was commonplace. Everybody my age had to enroll in the draft, and most of them were drafted if they passed a physical. And it was exciting, but yet a little bit scary. Yeah. And I came from a very small town, 3,000 people, and the draft board and everybody knew it was like family, but when you were inducted, it was in downtown Minneapolis. So that was probably my first real trip to downtown Minneapolis. So that was exciting by itself, you know. So, yeah. And the fact that you're going away from home for 2 years and never been away from home. I'd say exciting would be, if I had to use one word. Well, basic training was kind of a bore. It really is. You have to learn a lot of military technology and terminology. Physical fitness. I was athletic by nature, so it wasn't that difficult, but it was a lot of work. Kind of had to get used to being told what to wear every day, what there was to eat every day, and when to go to bed and when to get up. And there would be posted on our bulletin board in our barracks would be orders of the day, and if they said raincoats, it could be 75 degrees and sunny out, but everybody had to wear a raincoat. You know, it's just the way it was. So that took some getting used to. Yeah. And I was familiar with the weapons. I mean, I hunted at home, so that wasn't a big deal, but we spent quite a bit of time on the firing range practicing, and learn. Some of the inductees didn't know how to even hold a gun or fire. You know, you wonder why anybody would want to do that for a living. But basic training is designed to more or less brainwash you. You really have to be strong, and you not physically but mentally strong. So as they were assigning people in Incheon, in the morning you'd go out and they'd need clerk typists, or they'd need this, or infantrymen or whatever, and they'd just name your name if that was your MOS. And about the third morning, they came out and asked if anybody knew how to splice cable. And I had worked 17 months for the telephone company. So I said, I do. I really didn't, but I was a cable splicer's helper. So they pulled me out of the ranks and said, here's what we need to do, and I happened to know how to do that. And then they just kept me in that replacement battalion, so I didn't have to go to the front or drive the heavy vehicles or anything else. So I was in the Signal Corps, actually, and we handled the communications for our battalion. Well, my day basically was repairing phones and wire to get to phones. And part of the time I was there, myself and another guy went unattached to a new Army camp that was being built. No personnel there. And we had access to a Quonset hut that we lived in. And what we did daily was install phones so that when the company moved in there, everything was working. And that was about a 4-month project. So that was the steadiest part of our job. Well, we had Korean civilians that worked the switchboard during the daylight hours, and we maintained the switchboard and the communications, and they became like family. They were very, very good. I think that they really helped us. You know, they made the time go by. We lived in a barracks or in a tent all of that time, and we had what we call a houseboy today, but it was a young man, early teenagers, maybe 14, 15. He did shined his shoes and took our stuff to the laundry quartermasters and did all kinds of little errands, and he got paid a small amount, but to him it was very valuable. We celebrated Christmas with the houseboy. His name, we called him Junior. We ordered a bicycle, assembled it, and gave it to him for Christmas, and for him it was like somebody had given him a brand new automobile. They were, for the military, they were very good. The battalion that I was with was called a replacement battalion, and it was the troops that were coming into Korea went through our battalion and got outfitted and went on to other jobs, front or wherever it was. And people that had spent their time there and were returning home came back through our organization. And with that kind of traffic going through there, the food was better than Army food. At the end of the war, or the police action, we had repatriated prisoners. They were prisoners of war, our guys coming back through there, and got all new clothing and cleaned up and a health issue and checked out before. And of course they fed those guys the best that they could get. And we ate alongside of them and had fun with it. It was really a good duty. But that's kind of the work we did, installing phones in different locations. This is in a tent. That was our living quarters. The bakers and cooks were black race at that time. They were nice. We got along fine, didn't have any problem at all, but that was the tail end of segregation, I guess. This is the place we ended up at, or at least I ended up there when I was returned. It's a schoolhouse, but we had taken it over and it became a telephone, bakery, dining hall, the whole thing for the repatriated prisoners. I asked for cigarettes, gum, pens, ballpoint pens. They just didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And what little English they spoke was pin, you know, or cigarette, or smoke is what they'd call it too. But it was kind of a experience. This is the troop ship, and that's what I returned from Korea in. And on that ship, it says, the name of that ship was the SS Gordon, and it arrives with 3,233 people, and I was one of them. Here's the other one, Stars and Stripes, truce sign. This truce is signed, this is just occupation, but when we'd work, that's kind of the crowd we'd draw. The kids were just, well, most of them came because they wanted gum, candy, or something, but every place we went, you always be a crowd, it seems like. I didn't have any problem adjusting, none. And part of that was because I had a pretty good life in the service. Wasn't free to do what I wanted, but there wasn't too many restrictions. Job was waiting for me when I got back, so that was not a problem. The money that I had saved, I bought a brand new car, 54 Oldsmobile. Back to work within maybe 3 weeks after I got home. Might even been 2, 'cause there wasn't that much for me to do. My dad had a small farm and I worked with him, and I knew I wasn't going to be a farmer. And I had the job that was reserved for me, the job I left. So I came back and started to think about, gee, I'm going to have to find a girlfriend and a family, and I'm at that stage now. So that was pretty normal. That fall is when I met my wife, and she was a teacher, an elementary teacher. I can name 7 of us guys that were in the service, classmates, all getting out at the same time. 7 of us married school teachers. Wow. In a small town. So it was a kind of a bonanza, really, for us. This was actually a Korean civilian that's a businessman in the United States who is very wealthy, has made an effort to repay all of the Korean veterans. Now, he can't contact them all, and some don't want to be contacted. But he developed this particular medal, and those that were available, he awarded it to us. He also had this book published and awarded that to anybody that requested it, and it's just full of what Korea is today. Okay, well, the top half is North Korea, and the bottom half is South Korea, and those are lights that are going on today. Really tells the story. My tour in the military helped me quite a bit. Mature, I learned quite a bit, and I don't think it's a bad choice for young guys or gals that aren't sure what they want to do. I think it takes the pressure off them. They're going to get fed, clothed, and they're going to find out what they're suited to do. Now, if they like doing that, get discharged, they got a leg up on their life, So I thought it was a good experience.